welcome everybody to a quick demonstration of the pairing process for the XTC. If you would like to use this, this is in the beta function of the X-Wing Unified module. You can search for it on the Steam mod as you normally would. I'm in a dressing gown. Let's break it down. We have a team over here, we'll call it the blue team, and we have the red team up here. The first step is that both of the captains will choose a list in secret, and to be able to do this on the TTS mod, we're going to have to use the zones in TTS. I'm going to go for purple. I'm going to make a zone on my board that I can see but my opponent cannot. So using the zone function on the left hand menu, I'm going to create a hidden zone, which you can see I can draw here. But once I've done that, anything that I place inside that zone I can see but my opponent can't. If I am now orange and I am the opponent looking from the other side of the table, anything in here is blank, I cannot see it, and none of these cards are visible. I'm just going to go back to being the purple player. As the purple player, you can see all of these cards. It's important to note that when you move them out of here, your opponent can see that. So before you move them out, you're going to need to flip them over, face down. So we're going to run through a series of pairings just to show you how this works. Each player, each captain, or whoever is doing the pairings, will pick a team to go first. Before they leave, I'm going to flip the card and I'm going to place it in the attack section. My opponent is going to do the same thing. Imagine that all of these are like so. I have chosen a card, my opponent has chosen a card. What we are now going to do is we're going to reveal these cards simultaneously. So we flip both of these and we can see that for the blue team we have the Rebel Alliance, and for the other team over here we have the Resistance. If I zoom in on the card, you can see that not only do they have the symbol, but they have both the English and the Arabic text on the cards as well. Now we need to work out who is going to be playing against these two lists. I now have to choose what two lists I would like to pair into the Resistance list. I might think, okay, I think my Scum list and my Empire list are good pairings into this. So I'm going to flip both of those cards. I'm going to pick up both of those cards and I'm going to place them in the Defender section. And my opponent thinks that, well, these two lists over here are really good two pairings. So we're going to do that too. And we're going to flip the cards. So I've shown my opponent that I've done Galactic Empire and Scum, and my opponent has chosen for me First Order and Rebel Alliance. What you now do is we go back and we get to choose as the Rebel player which one of these two lists I would like to face. Now I've been given an option. My opponent is able to choose which two lists he has given me. However, I now have the opportunity, the agency, to choose which one I would like to play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two cards, I'm going to place them in my section so my opponent does not know what I'm doing. I'm going to flip them over, remembering which one is which, and I'm going to pass back my opponent the Rebel card, and I'm going to place the First Order card opposite my Rebel player. My opponent will do the same. He will flip the two cards, he will choose one, he will place one opposite, and he will give the other one back to me. Then we reveal the cards. So my opponent has given the Empire. We see that I have given First Order the opponent, and my opponent gets the Rebel Alliance back, and I get the Scum and Villainy faction back into my pool of cards. We have the first set of pairings done. Resistance versus Empire, the Rebel Alliance versus the First Order. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this process 2 more times. The first one is identical, so once again place this into attack and my opponent will choose this one. We both reveal our cards, remembering that if you move it out of this box they can see which card it is, so you always have to have it face down when it leaves. And then we pick 2 things to go into it, so I will place those 2 lists up against the enemy Galactic Republic and they will choose 2 lists to go into me. We'll flip. I will hide these 2 cards so he cannot see. I will decide which one I'm going to give him back and which one I'm going to pair into the match. So place this one here, and I'm going to return the Separatist card to my opponent. My opponent is then going to do the same. We reveal. At the same time, we have 2 more sorted. Now for the final step. It may seem similar, but this last pairing process is the most important of the three. We now each have 3 cards remaining. This final pairing process will end up creating all 3 matchups, not just 2. The first step is exactly the same. In this case, I'm going to pick the first order squad, so I will hide it, and I will place it as the attacker. I will place it there. My opponent will do the same. There is no choice. We know the 2 lists that will be given, these 2 and these 2. Reveal. We have the same situation. You must choose. However, whichever card is left plays against whichever card was left out from this other pairing. Let me give you an example. If I decided that I wanted to play First Order against the Galactic Empire, I would place the Galactic Empire card here, and I would place the other card into this section, into the final pairing. My opponent will then do the same thing. He will pair one card here and the other card there. We reveal these 2 cards. I chose the Empire against First Order. My opponent chose Resistance against Scum. And also that the opposing card that I left out was the Scum, and that will play against the Separatist Alliance that my opponent left out. That is the full pairing process for the XTC. Remember, you need to do this with hidden boxes so that you can choose the cards and your opponent cannot peek. Have fun, have a play. I would seriously recommend that any captains out there test this process and practice this process beforehand. I think you'll find it's a very fun mini game, and it gives the captain something to work on and perfect before the process starts. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Check out my other videos and follow along for some more coverage of the XTC.